Okay, listen here. If I brought this n1 this side, here n2 by n1 and n1 by n1, n1 get cancels, only n2 by n1, therefore n2 by n1 minus 1 cancels, therefore 1, n1 and n1 get cancels, therefore 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. This is 1 by v minus 1 by u. We know that 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f. This is an old equation, therefore I wrote it is a 1 by f. 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to this much. And we know that one more thing, that is a n2 by n1 is equal to n21, refractive index of the second medium with respect to first medium, therefore 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. This is called lens maker's formula. This is called lens maker's formula. See this lens maker's formula. If n1 is equal to 1 or surrounding area, and what is n1? Here n1, here n1, here n1. This area n1 is a refractive index of the surrounding and n2 is a refractive index of lens. Therefore n1 is 1, then equation becomes 1 by f is equal to n minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. In some books they take it as a n1 equal to 1. If n1 equal to 1, n1 1 ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 1 ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ n2 ಇನ್ನೇನು ಬರಿತೀವಿ, n ಅಂತ ಬರಿತೀವಿ. If n2 is equal to n, and if n1 equal to 1 and n2 equal to n, then 1 by f is equal to 1 by f is equal to n minus 1 into bracket 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. When it is, if the surrounding medium is air or vacuum, then you take it as a formula, the same formula. If other than air, use this formula. If other than air, if I kept the lens inside the water, use this formula. If I kept the lens inside the oil, use this formula. This is general formula. If particularly if that lens is kept in an air medium or vacuum, then use this formula. This same formula I modified, because n1 equal to 1 and n2 equal to n. In this formula n1 and n2, put the values, you will get the, and even see refractive index of IS, it is rubbed, that's why once again I wrote refractive index of IS minus refractive index of OS, that is the refractive index of image space divided by refractive index of object space. Here whatever I drawn, actually in previous I drawn like this, but not necessary to draw in detail. If you examination, if you draw this much, it is enough. If you draw this much is enough. For our convenience, I draw this one glass slab, I cut into the one spherical surface, wrote the one equation, and once again I cut that glass slab in some with some other spherical surface. I wrote the second equation, and then I added. But in examination, no need to write this part also. ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಬರೆಯೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೆಮರಿ ಒಳಗೆ. In examination, no need to draw all the things. If you draw this much, that is enough. If you draw this much, this is enough. No need to draw in detail. From this equation, we came to know that this 1 by f means is the focal length of the lens. The lens focal length is f. N means it is a refractive index of the second medium, that is the lens refractive index. Whatever I consider lens, that lens is made up of some materials. Which type of material, depending upon that material, its refractive index decides. Remember, its refractive index decides. Therefore, this focal length depend upon the refractive index of the material which is used to make the lens. ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಯಾವ ಟೈಪ್ ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಫ್ಲಿಂಟ್ ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಕ್ರೌನ್ ಗ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವುದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದರ ಫೋಕಲ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. ದ ಎಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ಎನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಫ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಅಪಾನ್ R1 and R2. Radius of curvatures of first surface and second surface. And I consider the lens like this. Each spherical surface has its own radius of curvature. Each spherical surface has its own radius of curvature. Depend upon that radius of curvature. Means radius of curvature ಹೆಂಗೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಇದು curvature ಮೇಲೆ. If I made it more bend, it has some different radius of curvature. If bend it this much only, it has a different radius of curvature. If you go on change the structure, you will get a different radius of curvature. Therefore, this focal length of the lens depends on refractive index of the medium or refractive index of material which is used to make the lens and radius of curvatures. Radius of curvature ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. Okay, and refractive index, it also depends upon the focal length of the lens is also depends upon the refractive index of the surrounding. Whether you use that lens in water or whether you use the lens in oil or whether you kept that lens in air, that also decides your focal length of the lens. Lens focal length, refractive index of the material of the lens, refractive index of the surrounding, it depends upon the radius of curvatures, and it also depends upon the wavelength of the light which is used. ಯಾವ ವೇವ್ಲೆಂತ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. it depends upon both, all the terms. F is depends upon this here, F is depend upon refractive index of the material, refractive index of the surrounding, radius of curvatures, and it also depends upon the light which is used to perform the experiment, and that also affects our focal length of the lens. These are the some factors which are affecting the focal lengths of the lens. Okay, now I will stop this class, and who are not watching properly these videos, please watch carefully and make the notes separately. And because we don't have any other choice, first that's why I am suggesting you. Afterwards it becomes a very hectic to you when the examination came near, and that's why don't neglect. And if you have any doubts regarding this derivations, sometimes it feels very difficult for some students, this all sign conventions and spherical surfaces. Without reading the spherical surface you can't derive this one. That's why understand spherical surface very very carefully and clearly, then only you can understand very easily. Once you understood this lens maker's formula, you can do it very easily. Otherwise it becomes a very difficult. That's why if you're not following the video classes, just follow the video classes very carefully. That's why I am going slow and I am giving sufficient time to understand you. If you understand, then no problem. Therefore don't neglect. Thank you.